where are we in the long-term adoption trend? Well, the adoption trend, if you see this chart of Bitcoin, that's the log trend of Bitcoin. We're 2 standard deviations oversold. We're the most oversold we've ever been versus trend. And we're at the point of global liquidity turning. And we've got, if you believe in it, the halving. It's all coming into place exactly at the same time. Again, really interesting. And here's the long-term chart, log chart of ETH. Same story, right on that big support level. And these kind of things are really interesting.
After a very tumultuous year, cryptocurrency investors are looking forward to a better macro environment in 2023. All year long, we've seen the massive impact of the macro environment on crypto prices. For example, one of the earliest signs of trouble in the cryptocurrency markets occurred in February when Russia invaded Ukraine. The macro conditions continued to worsen all year long as a result of the war, inflation, supply chain issues, interest rate hikes, and the almost historical change in the global liquidity cycle. However, the cryptocurrency industry has not been without its own troubles. The Luna collapse brought Bitcoin below $30,000, which was at the time its lowest price in almost 2 years. Then the subsequent contagion took it even lower, and now the FTX collapse has seen the crypto asset plunge to a bear market low of around $15,400. But several top investors and analysts have explained that these are just the signs of a bear market, a bad bear market, but one nonetheless. In addition, these top market experts believe everything's about to change in 2023. In a recent broadcast, Real Vision Chief Executive Officer Raoul runs us through his thoughts on the events of the crypto markets and the overall macro environment in 2022. He also gives his outlook for the digital assets markets in 2023 and beyond, specifically about the macro landscape and network adoption. Powell believes we are about to see a massive change in global liquidity, which will be facilitated by a drastic drop in inflation, possibly to the negative. When this happens, Powell sees crypto asset prices taking off exponentially. In his words, 2023 will be a good year, but 2024 will be an even better year. Before we listen to Raoul, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
The last time we got the cyclical cycle down onto the logarithmic trend, or to the bottom end of the logarithmic trend, was 2018, December. November, December 2018, we saw that puke, the final puke lower, which I think we saw in Bitcoin in October from the FTX, and I think we saw in ETH in June. What happened was that's when volatility came to the low and the market started picking up. That period, as soon as the Fed pivoted, was a complete change in markets. 2018 had seen the kind of falls we've seen now, about 20-30% falls. It was sharp, it was nasty, everyone was terrified. And then what happened was the Fed went, okay, sorry, yeah, we can see the economic data is falling apart, inflation's coming lower, so we're going to stop. And I think the S&P did about 15%. I think oil did about something similar. And then the NASDAQ did about 20. Exponential age stocks, the growth technology stocks, did about 24%. Bitcoin in 9 months did 300 or 400%, as did ETH. So these were staggering gains that came out of that environment. I've always referred to it like a beach ball being held underwater because the adoption trend is still there. What's fascinating about the adoption trend this time around, particularly in ETH, is the volumes have remained reasonably high. The number of active users has remained high. The total value transacted, which is the other part of the Metcalfe's law equation, has actually come down as the price of NFTs has come down. But the other measures look like it's robust. 2018, we saw a much larger fall in daily active users because it was earlier in the network adoption phase. But this time around, we get to build on top of what we built on from the last cycle. So that makes me very constructive overall. So here we are on the long-term adoption cycle where Metcalfe's law kicks in, and this is the thing that drives the exponential gains. Every time we get to this situation, we get new highs within about 18 months, maximum 2 years. In fact, within 3 years, even if you bought the 69,000 high, in 3 years, you'll see it go through. That's how it's always worked. Would it work this time that way? I don't know, but probability is there because of this network adoption trend that we're seeing. So I'm expecting 2023 to be a decently good year and 2024 to be extremely good year. If you remember, I said inflation, I think, goes negative. So therefore, we will see much more stimulus and growth will remain somewhat sluggish. So I'm again excited about where we're going to go. And we will go from 300 million users, and next time around we'll be at 1 billion users. And that trend rate of adoption just continues higher. So it's all to play for. And it feels always the darkest before dawn. And Christ, does it feel ugly right now. I mean, everybody hates everybody, and everybody's accusing everybody of being a scam. So let's talk about this adoption and what's driving it. You see, that's what the conversations in Raoul's Adventures in Crypto are about. I go and choose the people I want to speak to, not who want to speak to me, not who the team tells me that I want to speak to, because I want to learn from. So I get to cherry pick everybody, and I'm in a very privileged position. So at very top level, we started with that incredible interview with Punk 6529. That set the stage for how big NFTs are, because we all framed the work the last cycle around by the underlying cryptocurrencies themselves, the protocols, the layer ones, Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, etc. And 6529 made it very clear that NFTs are a much bigger deal than most people understand, because it's basically just a contract that can be used for so many different things, whether it's ticketing or artwork or music or insurance or derivatives or anything. So many things. There was a big philosophy about culture and the open metaverse that I think was incredibly important, because these are the foundation stones for the future. We're seeing music artists. We're seeing so many people come into the space and use it as a new form of IP, a new way of creating the creator economy and changing the distribution of capital to the community and the artists, and not to so many middlemen. Really important. And my guess is this whole space is going to move massively. I think that nexus of culture, online community, digital states, and NFTs is going to be enormously powerful in this next run. And I think that, just going to the Ledger event in Paris and to a few other crypto events, there is something about this moment in time in that where you've got music artists, visual artists, you've got filmmakers, you've got technologists, you've got financial people, all coming together for this one movement. And it's magic. There's one degree of separation from everybody. It's a magic, special moment in time. And it reminds me of the 1990s in the UK. 1996 was probably the year that England became the dominant cultural force in the world. And that was bookended in 1996 by Oasis headlining Nebworth. Now, it was not all about Oasis, but Oasis and British music, Oasis, Blur, Pulp, and then the dance music phase that took over all of Ibiza with, Carl Cox and Fatboy Slim, and then also the chill out music that came again out of Ibiza, hybrid with the UK. Then we saw, all of the artists like Damien Hirst and Tracy Emin all coming out of the UK. Everything was happening in the UK at any one time. The whole financial world was in the UK pre the euro coming into play. It was the center of everything, and you knew it. You felt it, smelt it. It was everywhere. And it was an utterly magic time. And it was probably bookended with Bowie, who is the biggest cultural icon, probably one of the biggest cultural icons of all time, headlining Glastonbury, the cultural UK iconic event. And again, incredible moment. Watch it online if you haven't seen it before. It was amazing. And then all of that age of innocence and hedonism that was going on crashed into the ground, into the recession of 2000, 2001, and then ended with 9/11 and the world changed. But that's where we are now, is that moment where everybody knows everybody. It's kind of the same moment that maybe was in 2015, 14, 13, with a lot of the guys building layer ones with Vitalik and then people like Brian Armstrong and all of these guys, Peter Smith, they were all early adopters, early people into the space, and they all knew each other. That's where we are in the NFT cultural thing. And I think it's magnificent to watch.
Time and time again, the cryptocurrency industry has proven itself to be superior. Compared to the stock markets, bonds, and other traditional asset classes, prices have grown quite exponentially in the few short years of its existence. We might have hit a rough patch in 2022, rougher than it's been for other asset classes, but crypto is still very much alive and the opportunities are still as massive. What are your thoughts on Raoul Pal's broadcast, and what is your macro outlook for 2023? Do you see inflation dropping to 2% or lower? Let us know your outlook for the crypto markets in the comments section below. Also, ensure you drop your thoughts and observations on Raoul Pal's broadcast, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel for more videos featuring the macro guru and other top experts. Thanks for watching.